top 10 manhwa with overpowered MC in school. Everyone knows that high school is the best and most important time of their life. Everyone's a rebel, often with quirky personality that makes them cool, and everyone has an angsty past. But let's face it, it's easy to forget all that when most other shows just serve out high school as another setting without giving us enough context to truly understand what it means to be a high schooler anymore. That's why I bring you 10 manhwa with overpowered main characters in high school. This video is about my favorite shows and manhwas that are set in high school with an overpowered main character. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and like our video. Moving on with our number 10, Devil Sword King. The number of high school pupils working a part-time job is an almost universal fact. People who can afford it can resist, while others just want to have a good time. The only thing that makes our protagonist stand out is that he has a part-time job as the ruler of a fictional country. He expects to devote equal time to both of them, which of course isn't difficult at all. Having two identities puts a strain on him as the story unfolds, but how will he handle it? It's a pleasure to look at. My primary gripe with the plot is that it's difficult to follow. A lot of characters' lives are in a state of disarray due to the confusing timelines. Number 9. Zero Game. After the death of her parents, Hana-woo sees her life tumble out of control, until one day a mysterious email invites her to compete in Zero Game, where losing means death, but winning brings a big reward: the ability to reset your entire life and live it over again, this time without all the pain and suffering. In Zero Game, Hana faces danger everywhere, but who can she trust? And how is her deceased father involved? Rivals, be aware. She may seem like a noob, but inside Zero Game, you underestimate Hana-woo at your own risk. Number 8. Gangs of School. The family crumbled like a sandcastle in the blink of an eye after their father's suicide. I became the head of the family and had to take responsibility for my mother, who lost her mind, and my blind little sister who goes to a special school. For the sake of my family, I'm going to start my own gang as the strongest gang school in Busan. Hot action for a cold world. Moving on to number 7. Pouncing. While the title may suggest otherwise, this is not some grown-up stuff. However, this manhwa is not precisely kids-friendly either. Our main character finds himself in quite a rut. His disappointing life finally takes a toll on him, and he commits suicide. His attempt is thwarted by someone you might assume is a friend, but ends up being quite the opposite. It's really good to read. Number 6. Get Schooled. Wajin Na's teaching techniques are pretty violent for someone who works in the Ministry of Education. That being said, when punishments don't seem to work on even the worst of school bullies, there is no better man for the job. Sometimes you can't get a good education until those bullies are taught a lesson. Moving on to number 5. Viral Hit. Scrawny high school student Hobin Yu is probably the last guy you'd expect to star in a YouTube channel that revolves around fighting. But after following some advice from a mysterious YouTube channel, Hobin is soon knocking out guys stronger than him and ranking in more money than he could have ever dreamed of. So can Hobin keep this up, or will he eventually meet his match? Number 4. The Archmage Returned after 4,000 years. Lucas Drummond was the greatest Archmage in history until he was condemned by demigod to spend eternity losing his mind. But 4,000 years later, he is thrust back into this world, into the body of Frey Blake, the weakest, most untalented student at the prestigious West Road Academy for Mages. After all this time, the world of magic has barely progressed. Could this be the work of demigod? Determined to find out, Lucas seeks to reach the highest levels of power once again and get his revenge. If you lived through or are still living through high school, you can relate to Junwoo, an outcast and a loner. His only joy comes from the hours he spends on his phone, randomly chatting with strangers. It's all weird and meaningless until Junwoo strikes gold, as he's matched in a private chat with a pretty young girl of his age. Jackpot! But when he discovers that this same pretty girl is actually his classmate Seung-ah, things get a little too real for a guy who's never even remotely been kissed. Number 2. The Breaker. Ji-woon is desperate. He is constantly bullied and getting beat up at school by a gang of thugs, and is on the verge of suicide. Sick of being weak and helpless, the boy turns to the only person he knows who can help, Chun-woo, a powerful martial artist and also his new teacher. But Chun-woo won't take Shi-woon under his wing so easily, and little does the teenager know about how his would-be mentor acquired his fighting talents. And finally, number 1. Mercenary Enrollment. This is by far my favorite manhwa in this spectacular subgenre, mainly because I just like the main characters so much. Yu Ijin becomes a soldier for hire after he loses his memories in an accident that results in the death of his parents. His past eventually catches up with him, and he discovers that he still has family left. What will he do when his innocent sister and grandfather find out who he truly is? This is a really good manhwa, and if you are into it like me, you might want to take a look at other manhwa like Mercenary Enrollment. And yeah, this was it for today's list and the video. But before we leave, if you really did enjoy watching our today's video, make sure that you drop a like on the video, and also any type of suggestion of yours regarding our today's video, you can freely drop it down in the comment section down below. And most importantly, make sure that you are subscribed to us so you can never miss an update on our future upcoming videos. Till the next one, see ya!